close to them. Oh, hi, recording. And the truth is, I planned this in a slightly different way, uh, and I can't even find the planning for it at the moment. Ah, here. Um, on the assumption we would all be together, those who are learning. So we're going to try to we'll do what we were going to do uh, in sessions. It'll breakaway sessions among ourselves back and forth, and we'll just see how it goes. Do the best we can. Okay. Um, oh yeah, there are lots of these. uh, okay. Uh, I decided to bite a bullet. This is what not all Psalms are going to be what you like, at least not in all of them. There's some parts you won't like, or sometimes you'll just think, my God, what the heck this is. I'll just use another off the wall example, but just for your vague information, 119, which is that psalm we say at the funerals, right? Which has 22 verses of 8 verses each. 8 verses each. There's 8 verses, and then that makes an entire stanza. 22 stanzas of 8 verses each. And it says exactly the same thing in other words, almost exactly the same thing, slight differences 22 times. Wow. It has a different purpose. It obviously was used differently than other psalms. And I have in my research, I encountered one person who said this is the most magnificent thing ever created, and somebody else who said this is the most boring, repetitious thing ever created. That's natural. All right. Song we're going to do today first. The one is that mine? Yeah. That we're going to do first. 137 is known to you all. Al Naharot Bavel. At least you know the first opening thing, and possibly known to most of you as being somewhat problematic. We're going to go through it. We'll see what we can do and be honest about it at all times. Okay. The first assumption that we're going to start with is when it opens up Al Naharot Bavel, that's the date of writing. We'll challenge that later. But at the moment, that's the presumed date of writing, Al Naharot. There we are, by the rivers of Babylon. And that's going to be our assumption. So this is a psalm literally written in exile. This is, apart from Esther, I guess, the first very clear writing that comes from outside Israel. It reflects profound emotions by choice of moments and the mindsets of people. It's really fascinating. Changes speakers, changes place, powerful turns of praise and a clear structure. Do the people at home have this?
Yeah.
If you don't have it, you could find it how?
On the WhatsApp group. I sent it in the WhatsApp group. I will send it in the Zoom over here, in the chat over here as well.
So it's going to be in the chat if you want to do it that way, or it's in the WhatsApp group as well. Okay. It confronts exile. It confronts the loss of Israel. The only other thing, I guess, by way of introduction, is to remind you, because this is one that really is a stretch to remind you. It is said every weekday before Birkat Hamazon. I confessed, really confessed. I've never really done that. I mean, maybe once if I was in a group and somebody said, "Okay," and I started sharing them up. But it's not well known or even done like Shir B'Shuv Hashem on Shabbos. This is the weekday version. This came first on Shabbos. This reading this on Shabbat is a result. No, on the weekday is a result of a line somewhere in the Zohar which says you can never have a meal without remembering the destruction of Zion. That's what the line is in the Zohar. Someone soon after that translated that as singing, as doing Al Naharot Bavel by the rivers of Babylon every time. Okay, now I'm passing it around. As myself. And does this pick up from everybody, or do I have to do all the talking? Does this pick up from everyone, the voice?
Yeah. Like not as well as you, but
Marshall, say something. Is normal voice.
Welcome to our class.
Raise your hands. Did you hear Marshall just now on the people on the screen? Yeah, you did? Okay, fine. Okay, thank you. Okay, just to put us all on the same page, literally. We're going to read it first. If you're not familiar with it, be ready for a shock. And if you are familiar with it, trying to figure out what you're going to do with it. As we read it through, the question I was going to ask you all to work out in groups among yourselves, and you'll just do stuff among yourself this way in a minute, were two basic questions. When was it written? I told you the original assumption is when we got there. Are there breaks? The way I've translated, I have a break that's so obvious that I just didn't even bother to avoid it after verse 6. Are there more breaks? And if you see repetitions or implications as we go, you can look at the text. You should be looking at the text. We'll talk about the repetitions you see and what they might mean. I don't want to give you more detailed questions because that leads you one way or another. Those are general questions that you would come to a psalm with. Who would like to read By the Rivers of Babylon? No, you may not sing. Okay. Speak up so they make sure they hear. Go ahead.
By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. What's the one?
That's the footnote. I have footnotes.
Oh. And yes, we wept as we remembered Zion. By the poplars in her midst, we hung our lyres. For our captors, there demanded of us words of song, and our mockers, words of joy. Sing us some song of Zion. How can we sing the song of the Lord on foreign soil? Should I forget you, O Jerusalem, let my right hand wither. Let my tongue stick to my palate if I do not remember you, if I do not elevate Jerusalem above all my joy. Remember, O Lord, against the children of Edom, the day of Jerusalem, as they spoke, raise to its very foundation. Daughter Babylon, devastated one, happy is he who repays you with the infliction you have inflicted on us. Happy is he who seizes and dashes your babies against the rock.
Okay.
People don't get to the second half.
First comment was not everybody gets to the second half. There is indeed one Psalter, which is a book of Psalms for church, a collection of Psalms that is said in church. It's a Psalter. And it leaves out the last two verses saying this is inappropriate for a Psalter. We cut it out. So, which, by the way, do you think it's inappropriate for prayer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Be honest. Well, I don't know. Does anyone think it is appropriate for prayer? The last part. Okay. Which would say what again about Psalms? They're not all written as prayers.
I would say they're not all politically correct.
They're not politically
Correct.
They're not politically correct. Yeah. All right, but it's still not. Yes, it's. We will come back to them. What? Speak up, whoever you are. Anybody? It was just a noise. Okay. Anybody on the Zoom thing? Just make sure you're on voice and just shout out. because that's what everyone else is doing whenever you want to talk about it.
The fact that we have. Oh, sorry.
Someone speaking?
Probably not muted.
Put everybody on
Does
mute.
someone have noise in the background? Because we keep hearing little things over here through.
I'm muting everyone. Whenever someone has something to speak, just unmute yourself and say whatever you wanna say.
Well, almost whatever you want to say.
Yeah, not verse 9.
Yeah. Within the politically. Judy, you were in the middle. Go on.
Maybe not this gruesome and vivid image of stashing the babies against the rock, but we have seen wishes and expressions of seeking revenge and avenging our enemies and that sort of thing. That it is expressed. So this is just a little more graphic, maybe a lot more graphic.
No, that's a sort of a great detail here. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
In Anim's Mirot,
Yeah.
you have the one about the dome where God is coming back covered in blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that relates to this the dome here.
Okay, we'll jump to things that come up. Was the dome an important nation in our history? Anybody?
Yes and no.
Which is the yes and which is the no?
Okay. So, I don't know a lot of wars with Edom, but first you have to remember that Edom is essentially the twin of Israel.
He's Esau, yeah.
Because it's Esau, who was the brother of Yaakov. On the journey from Egypt to Israel, the children of Israel passed through Edom. As I recall, with rather not friendly, but there's no fighting.
Right.
They just say they will stay on the path and not vary from it, if I remember correctly, which that assumes. In terms of war with Edom, I don't recall until, yes, they are involved in the destruction of Judea, but not before that. Moab is mentioned as an enemy before. The Moab vis-a-vis Israel.
One moment for those of you who are on Zoom. I have no idea what that is. We're working on it.
It's the lights.
It's the lights?
The lights are off.
Oh, the lights are off in the room. Okay. You thought you were in the dark about this psalm before. Well, somebody. It is not an alarm.
But thinking about
I
what they're
thought you may
saying,
be alarmed.
thinking about what they're saying about raising Jerusalem and all these other bad things, I think that it's more like saying, okay, remember this, remember all these people who are out to do you poorly, and look at what they want to do to you. So I'm not sure that that's per se a negative.
I don't understand what you're saying.
I'm saying that it's a reminder to us, which could be a positive reminder of what our enemies will do to us.
The truth is that
Does that make sense?
Edom is on our border, our southern border, southeast. There are several battles. It's not that we just passed through. They wouldn't let us take any water. Wouldn't give us water thing. They just said, get the hell out of it. And we couldn't even fight with them. They were very powerful. And they just stay. They are there all the way through the Bible. They're always one of the nations listed in a couple Psalms. They're listed Edom and other people as those people around side we have fights with. There are all sorts of little battles with kings, and I'm not sure about the judges, but the kings that they get involved in, they're always there. They're settled but in a very desert-like area. So, some towns, but they're not nomadic. They're not Amalek, which is a nomadic tribe. It's a big tribe. They're there for a long time, and they go right through to the second temple, and it's clear from this and a couple other references that they were on the side of Babylon when the first temple was destroyed. Exactly what their role is debated. There are even scholars who believe that Edom and not Babylon destroyed the temple.
Oh.
Just so you can know that it's part of this seems to have them calling from the sidelines. But there are a couple scholars who went so far as to say, no, Babylon doesn't do that. And you look at the timing and all, and when they had to go back, and that it was Edom that did it. They were the allies who came in and did it. It would be like Hezbollah vis-a-vis Iran or something like that.
Did you mention the book of Malachi?
I didn't, but you can.
Yeah, it's like I think, as you said, it's always mentioned, but I think in the book of Malachi and also Obadiah, this is the main theme.
The main enemy.
And the main enemy.
Yeah.
And even when they are speaking about the final judgment, the final judgment is the judgment of Edom. ועלו מושיעים בהר ציון לשפוט את ארץ סב.
Right. So you should know that what we might call Amalek, Edom really bore that mantle through the biblical period. It's really the archetypical, whatever they did or didn't do, they were known to be the enemy, and they were the powerful guys on the border of Judea. Okay, so that accounts for the bitterness of this. I don't know. No idea.
So the Zachor here is like our Zachor for Amalek.
A little bit, yes. That's good. Yeah, we had Zachor at Amalek, and remember what Edom. Yes, very parallel. Okay, so that will give you some taste a little bit. I don't know if it helps about the bitterness that's feeding into the second half when we get back to it. Did anyone break it anywhere else besides after verse 6 when we move over to Edom and revenge? No, just in your mind. We're not breaking up because we're all together. So okay. And you'd say after 4. Okay. After 3 or 4. Both are legitimate ways to do that. Who said 4? Who said 3? Okay, 3. Okay. Both of those are legitimate, but similar in terms of what we're going to try to do. Those who said it was after 3 understand that 4 leads into 5 and 6. In other words, the song that they can't sing is then quoted. Those who think it belongs before have it as a thought or a song, but it can also go because it responds to verse 3. Therefore, verse 4 does respond to verse 3. So, okay.
Is this the only occurrence of verses 5 and 6?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is
it. This is the source. And I think everyone knows another use of the part of the psalm, "Should I forget you, O Jerusalem," is said at every wedding. We'll come back to that too. If we'll break after 4. It could have been 3. We'll just break after 4 for fun.
So they use for us to count lines. So if you break after 3, it's 3, 3, and 3.
Okay. Yeah. It's a legitimate break. You want to do after? We'll do it this way because of one little thing. Doesn't really matter. Okay. So we're going to do it. We'll look at the separate sections, 1 to 4, 5 and 6. We'll look separately at the call for vengeance, and then the call for vengeance at the address to Babylon. Well, it will break after 7 also. And just look at a dome for a minute because there are 2 different addresses there. Okay, you got it well. You're doing well, guys. You look right. The rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. And yes, oh, I'm going to read it again. Look for words. Tell me what words I should look at before I come back. Either effective words, really, oh, wow, great literature, or repeated words, or plays on words, whatever. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, and yes, we wept as we remembered Zion. By the poplars, which could be willows. I know you've often heard it as willows. And wow, did you know that?
Yeah, there's some family trees.
Yes, that's very impressive. That's very impressive that you knew that. Poplars and willows are indeed the same family of trees, which I have written somewhere and I couldn't pronounce. S and C in there or something like that. They don't look like one another, but they are the same family of trees. They both grow by the water. So, okay. I mention it now because for Americans, sometimes the translation willows rings a bell when it says, in their midst we hung our lyres. Okay. By the poplars in their midst we hung our lyres, for our captors there demanded of us words of song, and our mockers words of joy. Sing us some song of Zion. How can we sing the song of the Lord on foreign soil? Okay. Anything you notice at all?
Yeah, it's there.
Which one? There we sat down.
There we sat down.
Yeah.
So the immediate question is, when and where was this written?
Okay.
If it's
There
means,
it
would be, if we thought it was here, then they were in Bavel. But if it was there, are they looking back to the time they were in Bavel?
Wow. Good reading.
Local.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so there is a looking back. Excellent. Excellent. I didn't even notice that.
Interesting that they brought their lyres with them.
Excellent.
If I was being kicked out of my house and had 3 things to choose, I don't know if a lyre would be one of them.
Okay. Okay, we'll do one of the 2 brilliant comments, and we'll do one at a time. and we'll explore both this time. First, it is there. If it's there, that means that this is being, even though it's got a very powerful emotional impact, and there are biblical critics who say it had to be, this is written right there because this is too real. This is all that is a lack of appreciation of poetry, as if Shakespeare can't write about Hamlet and make it effectively moving or something like that. It's just not, it's a poor criterion. So there makes it in the past, which will be very important when we come to the cry for revenge, especially if they're not there anymore. So it's going to be, that will come to later when we get to the revenge. Okay, there. The other thing, what David just rose, which is a very good reading. Why in the world did they bring their lyres? This is not Liar, it's Lyres. Why in the world did they bring their lyres with them?
Because when they went to Egypt, the women go up there and bring there.
Were they Levites? Were they musicians from the temple?
It could be. It could be. But both of those have an additional question. When they left Egypt, where were they going? They were going home. So anything they take with them, you gold, whatever you take. That's brilliant. Here, they're, as David said, if I'm going into exile, I might take an extra piece of bread, a couple bucks to make a bribe, but I'm not. What in the world are they taking their lyres for?
But it's interesting because the next line says, for our captors there demanded of us. It's as if the captor said, don't leave home without your lyre because I'm going to make you sing.
No, but
I'm
this
not, I'm
at
not
the
sure
time,
about the Hebrew there.
Oh, you mean the captors were speaking, they're remembering back then? Wow.
Kisham Shaloni.
Shaluni, yeah. Yeah. Uh,
It's not. It's as if because their captors asked them to.
Yeah, that doesn't explain why they had them,
Yeah.
why they had them with them. And it seems to me that it must have served some purpose. Maybe they hoped that they'd be able to use them in prayer and in you know, they would need the lyres for
when?
religious practice in
Babylon. Perhaps some dream of returning to the temple.
All right, so you've got the varieties of answers, and they're all properly collected. One of the things could be that they want to go, that they're going to keep them and come home, because after all, they refuse to sing. So they couldn't have planned themselves to sing. They said, no, we don't do that. But or somehow to recreate a prayer environment. It could have been they were Levites, but we hung them up. We did that because they asked us to sing. We said, "The hell with you! We didn't carry this for you. We carried it for us, either for our own prayer or for a sin." That's a it's chutzpahdik, very chutzpahdik.
It's so cynical of them, the captors, to say, "You sing us some of your Zionist ditties, sing us
your culture."
Yeah, but also sing the songs of it really is mocking.
Yeah.
You'll be pleased to know that we have a record, and if you want, I can get it out of my book over there. It was too long to copy down the name. That Alexander the Great does exactly that. He brings women captives, and he demands they sing their national anthem.
Oh, wow.
Really, it's in my book there. I can it's a source I've never heard of, but it's a history. But it's or either a well-known folktale or what, it's a theme, whatever you want. But we have a parallel in Alexander the Great. Anthems have captured women. What do you think of their response to their captors?
Well, they're saying no. That's quite obvious.
That took a lot of guts, I think. It seems to me that this is one of the more shocking kind of things.
It's very
bold.
bold.
What?
Very bold. It's very courageous.
One of the other reasons I wanted to do the four is it begins with Al Naharot Bavel and it ends with Al Admat Nechar. There's kind of a frame after four. The Al thing by the rivers of Babylon is Al Naharot Bavel. It's Al by the rivers, and the end of four on foreign soil is the same word Al on foreign soil. I couldn't figure a way to do that with the same English word. When you get to that's all right.
But it sort of, forgive me, but it makes me think. It reminds me of but the Jews walking to the gas chamber singing Alim Amin. They didn't hesitate to express their faith in God, even as they were. I mean, were the Germans laughing at them when they were singing these songs? Were they mocking them? But it makes me think of it because
it is amazingly courageous and believing. It really is. It is. Even right here, we can stop on this. Well, the next two verses are going to be the same, but it's just a wow. It's incredible that they do that. Brueggemann, a Christian biblical commentator, excellent on Psalms, said the amazement of this psalm is that they didn't give up, that they went there. And of course, Brueggemann comes from a Christian tradition, and he knows the Christians gave up on Jerusalem after the second temple is destroyed. They give up on the real Jerusalem. They fictionalize it in heaven. but they give up on the real Jerusalem. And he says somewhere, it's a very moving sentence to me. He says that just an amazing piece of literature that they don't abandon Jerusalem at this point. They just saw it destroyed, and they're going into exile.
I think this is explaining about Al Naharot Bavel and about the rivers and about the poplars that they are living in a very fruitful place. They have water. They have aravot. It's in biblical terms. This is like the promised land. You have all the time everything that you have. And instead of enjoying the rivers of Babylon, you are sitting there and crying about Zion, about your former life.
Great, wonderful, beautiful. And you said two words that sort of, by me, there's the rivers, and they're crying.
Yeah.
Now the water's flowing here.
Yeah.
It's really very dramatic. I'll give you one more. This is really odd, but I'm convinced it works several times in the Bible. What is the root of Zion?
Is it from Sinai?
Yes, which means, anyone?
Desert.
Dry desert. Zion is named for the wind that blows up the wadi all the way up to Jerusalem from the Dead Sea, and it brings the dry wind up, and it means it, and its root meaning is dryness. Its root meaning is dryness. So in addition to everything else, they're saying there's the rivers, but we're remembering Zion, and I think I have reason several times in the Bible to believe that they were very much aware of the dryness root of Zion as its name. The play on words is amazing here. They're sitting, the rivers could be the canals. If you know Babylonia, I'll do it to the screen. Everyone else is saying the two rivers, the Euphrates and the Tigris. And Tigris. I know me, all right. Come like a V down to the Gulf. The Gulf is further down than it used to be, but they were basically the same thing. But between them, between them are a huge series of canals. It avoids the flooding, and it's a place where you don't need rain. It's really even Egypt, they pulled canals out of the Nile. They did that as well. But so they're sitting by the water. Either the minute they got there, if they crossed one, maybe it's right after they crossed one by the rivers of Babylon, or among the many rivers of Babylon that they're thinking of these canals. I'm not sure there was a word for canal back then. And they're weeping, they're crying. The water, the play on water here is immense. If willows reminded them of the kind of willows that have weeping willows, I'm not sure. We just don't know enough to know how plants evolve, but willows have longer hanging leaves than poplars do, but they are the same family of trees. The truth is, I was depending on JPS here, and I spent the day looking, and some of the Christian translations have both. They'll put poplars or willows or poplars, so it could have been willows. Probably would willow it again if I did it all over again. All right. What word keeps repeating here? Sing, 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 sing. This whole thing is incredible. They're crying, and you get all this singing back and forth. It just sing a song. How can we sing a song, right? It's
I have a Hebrew question.
Yeah.
The word she'aluni.
Shalunu, yeah.
She'alunu.
Yeah.
What number is that?
Gimel.
Okay.
That's translated as demanded.
Yeah. Asked. It's sha'al. It's they asked us.
They asked us.
Yeah, but sha'al can mean demand. if it's
I
from
understand
somebody
that
in power.
I can ask that as requesting, not
Yeah.
demanding.
You-
But the context here makes it demanding.
When the captors, when a king asks you to do something, that's why the people, and I'm not alone in this. It becomes a demand because the person, if the guy with the gun says, "I'd like to ask you to sing a song," I think the English better word is demand. That's why I used it.
Okay.
They didn't have guns, no. All right.
Just, one other thing that throughout here, the memory is of Sion, but in verse 4 says Echna Shir Shir Adonai.
Wonderful.
So why, yeah.
Who said sing us a song of Zion?
The captors.
And what do we reply?
Are we going to sing a song of
We
God?
can't sing a song of God. It's a synonym. You said sing a song of Zion, and I said, no, I can't sing a song
Yeah.
of the Lord.
Yeah, so Zion and God are the same here.
Yeah, it's an amazing affirmation here. They want you to sing a national anthem. They said, no, I can't sing the song of the Lord. You know, our nation is different than other nations. I don't know if they knew enough to say that, but for us, the song of Zion is the song of the Lord. It's a wildly.
When did that change, Benjy? When did that change? When did we start singing Bechozo? Because we certainly sing a lot now in the diaspora.
Well, they think they're singing.
When did we decide we could sing the song of the Lord?
Probably Esther. If you want a real answer, the book of Esther is probably the moment when the diaspora is legitimated. There are people who, including great people like Professor Schweid, who say quite the opposite, that the book of Esther is trying to tell you how bad the diaspora is. And there are other people, and I, even as Israeli, tend to agree with them, who thinks, no, the book of Esther is the statement: we can live in the diaspora, we can survive in the diaspora, we can handle it, we know how to get along. It all depends on whether you look at what happened in Esther, or whether you look at the subtext, which says, and this is probably going to happen all over again. If you look at the second, then the diaspora is still being dissed. If you look at the first, then we can survive in the diaspora. So I think that's where it happened. We actually had people, before the first temple was destroyed, we had people living elsewhere. They were constantly referring to Jerusalem. I think Yev goes back to that, doesn't it?
It's the time of Menashe.
Yeah. So at the first temple, the what's it called in English? The Elephantine. There was a Jewish outpost in the first temple times. But whenever they needed anything, they would write to Jerusalem. It was very clear to them that the authentic middle was Jerusalem. Esther not only doesn't mention Jerusalem, Jerusalem is part of the empire, and you expect, with all the things that are going on, that they would make some mention of the fact that this decree has all the Jews in Israel under threat. It's just not. It's not there.
And yet, the Babylonian Talmud was before Esther. No.
Babylonian Talmud doesn't start the Babylonian Talmud is only written after the destruction of the Second Temple. Nothing in there. The
Okay.
Mishnah and the Mishnah that comes before is all written in Israel. It's not written in Babylonian. So,
and what's the condition of the Jews in Babylonia at this time? It says captives, but were they enslaved? I really don't recall.
It's a wonderful question. We don't know so much from this time after the First Temple. There was a wonderful exhibit at the museum, the Israel Museum, on the Jews of Babylonia, which came from Second Temple times and beyond, and they were living very well, thank you. They were living
But
very well.
this period we know nothing.
Nothing.
There is
But isn't this after?
What?
Isn't this after it says Bat Bavel Hashtuda? It's after somehow Babylon has been defeated. And who defeated Babylon?
You're great on history. This is wonderful. The city of Babylon. Remember, these were city states. A city is the name, and then it takes the whole empire. It comes from the city, right? They didn't talk about the Persian Empire back then. They went by cities. So Babylon was destroyed very quickly after the Jews were got back from the first temple. Cyrus got them back when the Persians took over. But twice, Cyrus and then Darius had to recapture Babylon because it rebelled. And the second time, it was a really destructive thing. So the probable dating, he's jumping ahead by being smart. But the probable dating of this, since Babylon is called destroyed Babylon, has to be like 100 years after the exile. Because Babylon's sitting in ruins at the time of this writing. And even when Cyrus took it, there wasn't that much fighting. They more or less opened the gates. When Darius took it, it was a siege. We have records of them killing their children, their own children, to save food, eating the children. It was a very, very bloody destruction. So it's probably in the time of Darius, which is more than 100 years after the first temple. So this imagination is looking back. Very good, boys. You guys got stuff that no class has ever gotten. This is looking back with great power. I mean, it's Shakespearean almost. It makes it seem so damn real. And he's looking back 100 years, and it's wow.
Cyrus is much later.
Cyrus is the first. Cyrus is the first Persian king to take Babylon. Cyrus comes 537 BC. No. 537 BCE. Where 587 is when the first temple is destroyed. 50 years later, you're moving the other way. You're going the wrong way. And 537, 50 years later, is Cyrus. Cyrus is followed by somebody, then Darius. I don't think maybe Darius was number 2.
There were two.
Yeah, there were 2 Darii.
This could be at the time when the Jews returned from Babylon.
Well, very few Jews returned from Babylon. That's the plain fact is that the good system, the good life that they were leading in Babylon, as seen by this, was the fact that most of the Jews didn't come back to Israel.
Well, and then they had a good life in Persia.
Persians were good to the Jews. Babylon and Assyria the Persians were very open to whomever they conquered. They had some bad things about them, but they had some wonderful things about them. It's Iran, I know, but they were an open society. They were one of the most advanced in terms of women's roles. One of the 3 Persian admirals who tried to conquer Greece was a woman. Right? They did business. They were business people. They did not try to impose their language or their religion on anyone they captured. It was really they have a lot to say for themselves. They were bad things, all right? They were drunks. They were the least rational.
You're saying they were drunks. I mean, that's in the Megillah to still.
Yeah.
Also in Herodotus is
Yeah.
writing a lot about the drinking habits.
Herodotus. The drinking description of the Greeks is of the Persians is rampant in Greek literature. Is it true we all know that fake things exist, the Scotch or don't send money or this group is dumb or that, whatever things. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, they're running after quarters. And all these stories, it doesn't mean they were true, but there was a rampant feeling that they were drunk and they ran, and that's how they ran their country more or less the way Achashverosh does. He says, okay, kill him. They were total. They did conquer everything to the east of them and a lot to the west. There were Greeks nearby in the Persian area when the story of Esther takes place. They're right up there. The whole area up there is a Greek area. They could have known Greek stuff and all that. That's another. Go read my thing on Esther. So, I guess in this first thing, just a couple of other words. There's some nice word plays on here. We hung is talinu, and our mockers are tolalenu. You can hear it just then. We dwelled as yashavnu, our captors are shovenu. There's this guy he has 5 times song. I'm not quite sure what you or I think of all the repetitions of song, but it is so emphasized. Usually emphasized, sing. 5 songs in that first 4 lines. And then comes the second part, which we won't. And yeah, I think we did everything about the first. The first part is very clear. Who's speaking? We. It's us. It's the group. All right. This is the whole first thing is the whole group is going down, etc. and so forth. That's another reason I cut after 4 because of the wild change. Okay, to read it again. Love this. It's so nice at weddings. It really is great. The fact that we still do this, the fact that we do this is so much an appreciation of our connection to Israel that goes back to the Psalm, which most clearly at the most vulnerable moment expresses this connection to Israel. This is just, should I forget you, O Jerusalem, let my right hand wither, let my tongue stick to my palate if I do not remember you, if I do not elevate Jerusalem above all my joy.
Does anybody suggest that those were lines that were said somewhere and it was put into the psalm? It almost feels like it was taken from somewhere else and put here.
It was taken from a wedding.
I want to go the other way.
It would have to be said. You know what? It's possible if the author is writing 100 years later. That's an interesting question. I don't know if there's an answer. But if he's writing 100 years later, he could have created and written this whole psalm around something that had already been written, namely these 2 lines. I was wondering
about the 2 expressions here, which must have, where does that come from? Tishkach Yamini. I mean, we were so familiar with that we don't even think about it, but it's an expression. What does it mean? My right hand should be forgotten. Withered. There's got to be
withered.
All right. Of course, I didn't get it. It's other people. Here's what it is. Some people leave it as an odd structure where they just left off the object of the verb. If I forget you, Jerusalem, my right hand, forget, and they put in it's cunning, or it's something, its ability to move, it's skill, whatever you want to put in, an object that's not there in the sentence. And some people just assume that. The others, the only way they got to wither, which I've left, which I understand, is the assumption not that it's a mistake, but that it's a metathesis. A metathesis is when you have three letters and they switch around and become a different word, but almost the same, like keves and keseb are both sheep. Avar and aravar from the same root, pass through or the and there are many such words. It is in English, flutterby is the source of butterfly. The F and the B by metathesis change. It's a linguistic function that holds for every language. If they found it easier, they'll move the letters will evolve. And the Tishkach here was
what is it?
the root would be kahash, which we know as deny, but kahash means grow lean, and it appears several times in the Bible, not often, but it's a rare word. But that those who came up with this felt that this is either a misprint, but more likely a metathesis from kahash, which means make itself lean or wither, become lean.
In Pharaoh's dream and the Joseph story, does it appear?
Not that I know of. I remember looking it up just recently. I looked it up today in preparation because I don't remember it either. And I didn't recognize any of the references. There are only 2 or 3 in the Bible. There were none that I knew offhand, so it couldn't be in there. Yeah, anybody who wants to do, look in a BDB, a dictionary, a biblical dictionary, we can look there. Mandelkorn. IDB.
Like, I forget you, my right hand will forget. What is the hand supposed to do? It's supposed to function. And if it forgets how to function, it's like it's
well, you have to assume, you have to put in its functioning or its wisdom or its strength or its abilities. I mean, you need an object. You can't just forget,
If I can suggest,
yeah.
There are things that they are asked to do to play the lyres, the fiddle, and to sing, and there are 2 things that will happen to them. One that they won't be able to play the fiddle, the other that they will not be able to sing.
Wow. Very good.
Right, and the answer before I even got to the question. That is a wonderful and proper. There's one other. I think that's the right one, but there's another possibility. What else would involve your hand and your mouth? Eating. Okay, that's good. Oh, I didn't even think that one. No, I created it. Depends on how you eat. Swearing loyalty or making thing, but the comment is right in place. It is almost a statement that and so look at this. You have a song that's not a song. I can't sing a song. They sing a song, but it's a song that says I can't sing a song. It is great poetry. It is incredible. And if it had a great amount of courage by saying no, we won't sing. To sing this is just as courageous. It's wonderful. It's unbelievable. It's that moment in Jewish history. Okay, it's written back dating, I said, but it's the moment in our literature when Israel becomes not for sale, not divorceable. There were other ways that Jerusalem became so central, et cetera, and so forth, that it built up. But here, when it could have gone, when everything said, drop it already, they're not dropping it at all.
this person.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't know. Well, answer because I mean, not that I have an answer. One answer is better than you, but go for it. Why?
Is dropped in from somewhere else. But because it could have easily been, it forgets you, but
It becomes it's much more personal when it's an individual.
Except that what if it's only, then it's only him, you know,
Only one person.
it's only one person.
Or it's every single person. You can read it whichever way. I always thought it was maybe they wanted to say every single person, but uh, it very clearly has moved, and that's another reason for switching from 5 to 6. The we becomes I. We will come back once more, but
Okay.
it doesn't really work in the world. Let our tongues stick to the palates of our mouths. You know, all our it could have worked, or it could have been from elsewhere. I never thought of it. It could very well. That's nice. And that
Can
would,
you rephrase that?
no, the idea that this is a piece that he built the poem around that piece that
I
he
see.
brought in. It's very powerful to think that this was that this even earlier than 100 years after, but before this is something that goes way back. Wow.
It seems to me that there's a certain disconnect between one hand is saying how can we possibly sing about Zion and Jerusalem but then on the other hand it says we cannot forget Jerusalem. So something there isn't working for me. It seems to kind of almost contradict each other.
Well, they sing when they said they can't sing. I mean, there's some sort of a song-like thing here.
And they don't want to sing for their captive.
I don't want to sing for the captain. Yeah.
They just look by themselves, they sing.
Yeah, and that with what you were saying before, that was good. That's like saying to themselves exactly, and that I can't sing it. I can't sing it because I remember Jerusalem is above all my joy.
Or you can't sing to before your captors.
Can't doing before my captors. What is it that you see with it? What's this? I'm not sure.
We can't. There's two things going on here. One is we can't sing for our captors.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. The next thing is we can't forget Jerusalem. There's two separate thoughts going on here.
Okay.
Yeah.
There can be.
Yeah, I understand there can be, but I'm just saying that
because we remember Jerusalem, we can't sing about it.
Yes.
Remember Jerusalem, or to you, or even sing it on foreign soil. They don't say to you; they say on foreign soil. They say we remember Jerusalem, and so we can't sing. Though I've always thought it was also a song, which was the ultimate irony.
I think about it in terms of.
Wait, Brian, why do you think it's two separate thoughts? It seems to me they're one integral flow. One flows from the other naturally.
I think they're just saying there's two subject matters here, which are joined together overall. Yeah, I'm not saying that they don't work together. I'm just saying that there are two different expressions of thought here about Jerusalem. The first one is we love Jerusalem so much we can't sing it to our captors, and the other one is we will never forget Jerusalem. We can't forget Jerusalem. But I guess they're both expressing a love for Jerusalem in two different ways.
And
if they could forget Jerusalem, then they'd be able to sing. The only reason why they can't sing, it's not that they're looking around and wondering where they are. They're looking around and saying, I'm not in Jerusalem, which is what I love.
Mm-hmm.
Although, Benjy, you did say that they quickly became very happy in Babylon.
Well, that all I said is
that they didn't come back.
They didn't come back, and they're the remnants a little later of their life here. It shows a thriving community there. That doesn't mean that they were in love with it. there's a process going on here, right? The diaspora is becoming legitimate, whether you attribute it to Esther in the book or just the fact of people moving and spreading around, or it would go back to the first temple and to Yev again. What's it called? Elephantine. Yeah, there's a process going on. Which does not contradict remembering Jerusalem and its centrality, at least at this point. Maybe in Esther it does, but certainly not in this text. One other thing
I note that it's a process that's still ongoing, as more and more young Jews are really leaving out this from the wedding ceremony, even if
Really?
they're having a Jewish wedding ceremony.
No.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. I don't remember where I saw it, but I know I did, and I certainly believe it. Look,
Wow.
as soon as Newsner said, what, 40 years ago, that America is the new promised land.
Yeah.
That
he wasn't the first. The
No.
Reformed Jews that said it. Yes,
Correct.
that said it
Correct.
constantly. Wow.
I'll see if I can find a reference.
Yeah, the hell with them. I just I'm sorry. I get very upset at all this. The Jewish community could even allow it. Any rabbi who allows it by me is out of the pale. I don't know.
Our rabbis. One Zionist.
I don't know where I wrote, but recently I wrote somewhere in an article that they shouldn't be accepted to rabbinical school or ordained or got in the RA. But that was me. Okay. Yeah, well. One other small thing. You won't get it unless you saw the Hebrew. But in Rosa 5 and 6, you literally climb up the body. You have the right hand, then the tongue, then the palate, and above my joy is at the head. The head, it just kind of rises up to in this. The poet has great taste here. It plays on words. I think very, very skilled. Okay, and now we're getting there, right? The part we were all waiting for. Remember, O Lord, against the children of Edom, the day of Jerusalem, which we presume means the day of destruction. As they spoke, raise to its very foundation. It's a partial quote. Because raise should have an object and it doesn't. That's the only prayer in here. All right, he speaks to God. It's the only reference to the Lord. It's the Lord's song. The Lord, yeah, there's a Lord's song. But take revenge and.
Is that a quote from it?
No, from here, no. No other place than from here. I hope you're hearing all these. There's just a lot. He loves to echo. He has Lord here and he had Lord before. Yeah, I have a chart here somewhere. All these, I'll show you later. He has remember here, right? This is another remember from the remember that was before. He's a poet of, and for the 100th time, when I say he, I mean he or she, because it's too much time in my classes to do it both of them. Okay. So the person who wrote the article that Edom destroyed the temple uses this verse very much. He said it doesn't make any sense that you attack the ally unless they really, really were active. And then he shows the dates and when Edom came and when they. All right, whatever. I don't even remember what the article. Yeah, well, no, they were the enemy. They are the enemy. Yechezkel, yes, Yechezkel, absolutely. All right, here comes the last. Daughter Babylon, devastated one. I paused. Ryan picked up all on his own, amazingly. Not that I'm shocked you picked it up, that anyone picked up. This devastated one seems to indicate that at the writing of this particular sentence or the poem, Babylon sort of lay in ruins. And the only natural candidate that I know of is when Darius brutally suppressed a rebellion in Babylon against the Persian Empire.
But then, how do you explain Asrei Yesalem, future tense,
Huh?
if it's already devastated?
Right. There is no good way to put these together. There's no good way to get it. Daughter Babylon. Daughter Babylon is Bat Adom. It's a Bat Yerushalayim, the Bat Zion. It's used in various places throughout throughout the Bible, late Bible. It's a personification of a city. It's translated daughter, but it's not quite sure how that works into the personification. It's a long subject. Somewhere I have a huge footnote note on it. It's on that one of my books. Don't dwell on it. Just trust that it's a personification at the moment. Yeah, sure you can. That means devastated. That means devastated. Lishdod is to when a pirate just rips through the area and they take all the women and the things and the booty and all that. Shaddad. Happy is he who repays you with the infliction you have inflicted on us. This is going to be. What does that say?
Yeah, you really have to.
Asrei, you don't think it's the Lord? The Lord that will repay you?
We cannot hear you anymore. I don't know if it's my problem. Ah,
No, I can't hear either.
You can't hear? Can you hear now?
Now, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I was mumbling. I do that on frequent occasion.
No, that
Happy,
wasn't it.
happy is he who repays you with the infliction you have inflicted on us. Ibn Ezra and one other, I'm pretty sure it's Radak, say that means that the next sentence is what Babylonia did to us. In other words, happy is somebody who does what you should suffer what you did. What you did was, okay? Happy is he who seizes and dashes your babies against the rock.
Can it be wishful thinking as opposed to a description of the devastation of Babylon?
It can be both. You've got two that both of those are possibly correct, Dave. Wonderful. First of all, the wishful thinking, 100 years after the destruction, or any time after Cyrus, the Jews were not in a position to have an army or to fight a war at all. This was not a wish to do it ourselves. It can't be. The Jews simply were not in a position. They didn't have an army. They didn't have a powerful country. They didn't have nothing. They were a loyal part of the Persian Empire, which eventually was taken over Alexander, and you couldn't rebel against Alexander the Great any more than you could against the Persians. We tried once the Seleucids came in after Alexander, but this is way late in history beyond ourselves. So the fact is that if it's wishful thinking, or however you look at it, it's not, I can't wait till I do this.
And it's not revenge.
Well, it is, revenge should happen to them, but not, I'm not going to take, I'm not an avenger. I want revenge. An avenger is somebody who avenges. He's not an avenger. They want revenge. And then comes the odd part, but the flip side of this, which is just there. Babylonia doesn't have rocks. Babylonia is like Atlantic City. It's a seashore. It's by the two rivers. It's flat. It's Florida.
Yeah, Florida doesn't have rocks. That's so surprised me when I was visiting.
Florida doesn't have rocks. Florida doesn't have rocks because it's between the two water bodies. What? It's tidal. It's 3 feet underneath the ground is water already. There's no mountains coming up or anything at this that break into rocks later. There were no the volcanoes were rising. Which means that this author is using what he knows from home, namely rocks, and he couldn't possibly know the Babylonians did that because the Babylonians. Oh yes, the Babylonians could have done it because it was in Israel.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
the Babylonians could do it. Of course, they were in Israel.
Yeah.
But nobody that's going to revenge on them over there is going to do it. He saw it here, and it's a little bit off if you want to be technical about it. Okay, but
maybe they didn't see it here. That there were memories and stories about it that were passed down.
yeah, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. No,
This is written after that.
yeah, no, it was after, and it was horrible destruction. Everything we know about war in antiquity. Did I bring that list? I don't know. I don't know if I even brought it. I brought a list of verses from the Bible. Oh, here it is. What I said before. It's Ibn Ezra and Radak. Oh, and Radak.
Yeah, you said
I did say Radak. Okay. And here's Darius retook. Okay, that idea that it was Darius from Bar Yosef. No, I guess I didn't bring it. There are, if you want to look it up, war was hell. War is hell.
it hasn't changed. So.
It really is hell. And we have several battles noted in the Bible against us, with us. Doesn't really matter. That's what war is. It really is a horrible, horrible thing. They certainly had none of our concept of the limits of war or the ethics of war. We had a few. We don't destroy trees. You have to offer peace. Fruit trees, but you have to offer peace if it's not of the nations that are being driven out. It's actually, there's even a statement somewhere in halacha that you have to offer peace if the enemy is Amalek. We do have a kind of a little bit of a more advanced ethos of war than other countries, but in general, wars, it is only our generation or the one or two before that even came up with the idea of real limitations on war or what you can't use in war. The first pact was with gas in World War One. That was the first time that anyone ever came up with anything you couldn't do in war. Nobody ever got prosecuted for rape in war or for killing innocents in war. I just know of no such thing in history. It's a 20th century phenomenon.
In the introduction to political theory that I took,
Yeah.
they brought some Christian theologians in the time of the American wars.
Oh,
Like in the Spanish
Yeah.
American wars,
Yeah.
that trying to navigate what it is okay and not
Oh, yeah.
okay in a
Okay.
colonial war.
there you go. So it's older than I thought.
But this is
This is the Bible, yeah.
This is the one example that shows how rare it is.
No, I'm glad to hear it.
Um,
1813. Spanish American War?
Hmm?
Spanish American War, did you say?
No. Like in Columbus, like when
Oh,
like when they started to get to the Americas and they started to fight the natives.
Yeah.
So
certainly didn't have much influence on anybody, but I'm glad to hear it. I didn't realize it goes back. I had no idea. That's very good to know. But that's no regard for life whatsoever. This is a psalm. I love it because of the beginning. I know of I'm absolutely moved every time I read it that that this is the moment. That's what I feel. There's the moment. It could have been, and for all that was built out and our connection to Jerusalem and planning the land and everything, I know and the myths of Jerusalem. I know all that, and the prophetic looking forward to Jerusalem. But when you lose it all, and we know that other people, that's why Brueggemann said it wasn't only the Christians gave up on Jerusalem. Practically every country that is destroyed explains why they can't go back, so and so forth. So, and as the last part, if it ameliorates it to you to know the history or not, whatever you want, don't put it in your psalter. But and next time you say it before Birkat Hamazon, you can decide whether you do it, you say it or don't. But it's amazing. You know what? If you have 10 minutes, I'll do the next one in 10 minutes. All right, I'll just talk at you. Is that okay? Because I want 122. Did they get 122? We're sending 122. Yeah, because I didn't want you to read it while I'm doing 132.
It's quoted in one of the prayer devotionals from the Fifth Exhibit.
Oh, it's also used as a Shir Shalyam.
This is what when we walked into the old city for the first time with the group.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
No. I was thinking 48. No, it's not used.
Come to it.
שלחתי עכשיו גם בוואטסאפ וגם בצ'אט פה את המקור הנוסף.
Okay, this is Psalm 122, which we'll first just read, and I'll just talk at you. We're not going to. You should know this. There are 4 Psalms that are really Psalms of Jerusalem. The 137, Shir Hamalot, which we did. Did we do it? Yeah. Psalm 48, which is a different tone altogether. It's walk around Jerusalem, touch all the kings gathered and they visited Jerusalem and they were scared. Walk around Jerusalem, see its citadel, see its. This is God. That's Psalm 48. Ze Elohim, Olam Va'ed, Hu Yina Hagenu Almut. He will lead us forever. What the Shir Hamat that we sing? 136.
126.
126. Thank you. 126. So therefore, and this is the one that's less often said, but I love it because it's so modern.
But there is a mention of Jerusalem also. Is it one?
Oh, Jerusalem is mentioned, but there are 4 Psalms that dwell on Jerusalem. Yeah. Okay. And some of you know it. Who wants to read it? Somebody read it out loud.
The sense of David.
Real loud. Scream.
I rejoiced when they let us go to the house of the Lord. Our feet have been standing in your gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem, built like a city that is fully united together. that there the tribes made pilgrimage, the tribes of the Lord, an ordinance upon Israel, to acclaim the name of the Lord. Indeed, there were set the thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you find tranquility. May there be peace in your ramparts, tranquility in your towers. For the sake of my brothers and my friends, I petition, peace be in you. For the sake of the house of the Lord our God, I request, be it well with you.
Okay, I'm just going to come. If you have a question, yell it out. But I'm not going to ask you to search for this stuff. You can see a great frame. This is where the framework is. Davar v'hipucho, exactly the reverse of what it does. The frame of this thing is the house of the Lord, right? In verse 1 and in verse 9, you have the house of the Lord. What is amazing for that, and is absolutely what everything's about, is there's no more house of the Lord. They're going to Jerusalem, and you're not going to find sacrifices. You're not going to have priests. You're not going to have the priestly blessing. None of it. You're not going to have it. And if you want another great conflict, because you can always use this in your class if you ever happen to sit down with a Haredi, you can see the title, A Song of Ascents of David. And then if you look at verse 5, indeed, there were set the thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. Hello. Oh, no, David did not write this. All right. So if there's ever you need a verse to say, did David write all the songs attributed to David? You got it. This is the absolute thing. The first verse is almost prose. Nothing repeats. There's no parallelism. It's amazing. I rejoiced when they said to me, "Let us go to the house of the Lord." It's a story. It's so non-poetry. It's like, wow, what is happening in that verse? That you can tell is quick. It's obvious. It's so clear. What is going on? They're going to pilgrimage. Yeah. This is a pilgrimage. It's one of Shirei HaMa'alot. It's a song of ascent. One theory about Song of Ascents is going up to Jerusalem. It's not the only theory. So, okay. But this one is the clearest of all. This is a psalm of pilgrimage. Again.
Because you have one and then two, you've arrived.
Yeah, look at the jump. Thank you. Look at the jump from 1 and 2. It is amazing poetry. All of a sudden, let's go, and the next sentence, you're there. It is present, and wow, and it's the reversal of poetry. It says everything by not saying anything. We're here. That's all the verse says. Oh my God, we're here. Our feet are standing here. I'm in Jerusalem.
There is an opposition between Melech, who will be moved, and standing.
It is so dramatic. All right.
It's a divided city at one point.
We'll jump to it. A very difficult part of this psalm is the sentence, Jerusalem built as a city that is united together, fully united together, in verse 3. Only theories. We could go around the table and guess at them. Anybody know what they thought? It's look, number one, the 2 hills of Jerusalem. You get the Temple Mount, and then the wadi between, and then the upper city. The lower city and the upper city in Jerusalem. The guys on the So it could be physical. Yerushalayim Harim Savivla. It is surrounded by mountains, not in this sense, but that it is bound in together, right? It it brings the people together. It is patched up of all the various tribe members. It unites the people. Every possible theory is there. Do with it what you want. No one has the one answer.
I do, Benjy, though, wonder why you say with such certainty that the fact that it says the house of David means that he didn't write it. I can
Because
imagine, no, but you could say, here lies Trump, the victor of the world, and there is Trump Tower. He could,
Yeah,
it's not saying David, it's the house of David.
the house of David is only after the house of David are his heirs. Beit David are the people who took over the kingship when he died.
Correct. Okay. I
So
retract that.
The thrones of the house of David have to be
Right.
after he's dead. So
And it would appear that this was at time that the temple existed. It would seem.
Yeah,
It was-
this Beit Hashem wasn't in Jerusalem.
yeah, there is clearly coming to truth. It could be the second temple already.
Yeah.
It could be. It could be. I mean, he could be looking so far back at the house of David that he's looking from Second Temple in the Second Temple times, and they used to come back here, right? Clearly, the tribes don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
There, the tribes made pilgrimage.
Right.
The tribes of the Lord. The tribes ceased to exist after Solomon, essentially. When David and Solomon broke down the tribal structure and divided the areas by mishmarot, groups that would come to serve in the temple, and rather than doing it by tribes, they broke it into civilian quarters. And you really everything after that, if you refer to a tribe, it is symbolic. There are no more tribal structures. They restructured.
There was the division of the kingdoms, though, and then there was some.
Well, that's north and south.
Yeah, but again, you have like Don and you have some reference, I think, to tribal areas.
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
No. I'll look it up.
I know thinking about that, there's a lot in the Judges about all this,
Oh, the judges have
and
all the tribes.
and then assuming some of the stuff in the Tanakh, I care for Don, God take care of you, because they were almost extinct. So it's reflecting tribes, but I think it all reflects it only up to the house of David, I think. What you don't see perhaps in this psalm, let me do the major thing first, right? We're going to the state, it's standing in your gates, and it's built like a city united together. The tribes used to come here. History. I'm here. Look, I can't believe we have that feeling. My God, I'm in Jerusalem. It's where everyone was, and they used to come here. The thrones of judgment, the houses of David. It's the same thing that a visitor can tell you. Yeah, it reflects. I can't believe that I'm here at the wall. You know, right? And then pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May you, this national association, may those who love you find tranquility, peace in your. Peace is a big word here because the word shalom just echoes throughout this thing. Jerusalem and shalom are Yisrael. They should be in peace from Shalpa. The shalom, shalva, and Yerushalayim are it just totally dominant. For your information, I'll do this quicker. Ir Shalom is not the origin of Jerusalem. That's not. It is first found in, I think, Sa'adia's translation in the Bible, where he calls it Ir Shalom. That's the way he translates Jerusalem as city of peace. That's a play on word. It clearly is being played on already in Psalm 122. Yerushalayim comes from the city Shalem, which was there first. Shalem was some sort of a pagan god, and we're not quite sure what Yeru was, but it's something to do with that. What?
It wasn't peace.
No, Shalem, whole.
Even before that, it appears in Jerusalem appears definitely in the Alamarna, but
Yes, it does.
and possibly is it also in the execution texts?
Yeah, but it's there. Jerusalem is called that. It's before
Rusalem.
Jews. Yeah.
Or something
Yeah.
like that.
Before Jerusalem existed. It's not a Hebrew word. It comes from before that time. It wasn't named by us. Okay. There should be peace, tranquility in your towers. Look how the peace comes in. First the walls, and then it comes into the towers of the buildings. It's coming into the city. And you have everything you want as a entity, a political entity, being there, the history. It's pulls us together. We want to get together, tranquility throughout. It's beautiful for the sake of my brothers and friends. It's a national. And if it's a pilgrimage thing, it's not clear who brothers or friends. This guy could be leaving by this point. So it's the ones who didn't come that he's going back to. It's the ones he just saw. It's the ones from around the world who can't make pilgrimages. But it's very national. I petition peace be first for them and then for the house of the Lord. So he got back to the house of the Lord. This is a national, historical, cultural appreciation of Jerusalem. Doesn't cancel the religion thing, but that's not what this is about. This is about the kind of thing that we all feel. It's very modern. It's very, very modern, and and it's very people oriented. You have back and forth between the people and the history, all the way back and forth.
And the contrast of what you'd expect in your ramparts and in your towers would be warriors and weapons, and instead may there be peace in your ramparts and tranquility in your
And in
towers.
Psalm 48, if you have chance to go back and look at it, you'll see that the ramparts and towers exactly do that to the observer. He looks at them and said, my God, the city will never be destroyed. We're going to resist anybody. It's a whole different take on what Jerusalem's about. It's strong. It comes from the time when the South wasn't conquered and Jerusalem wasn't taken by Sancherib's troops. That's strong. Here it's for peace, brothers, sisters, dominated by the term shalom. There's one other thing that I want to. Did I mark that? I marked it up in the wrong one. There is something about the last thing I'll say. Shirei HaMa'alot of steps. One of the theories is that most of these poems illustrate something called anadopolis, which is, it's a word means steps. You have a word, A, here, and then you have B. And the next sentence has a B and a C. And then a sentence has a C and a D. And the next sentence has a D and an E. It just moves by steps. It's never totally clear, but if you trace it through the Hebrew, unfortunately, you find these constant repetitions of words that kind of go step by step from one end to the back to the beginning. In this case, the Beit Hashem is the one that goes back to the beginning, but you would be able to, especially in this psalm, it's very easy to go through and find these words that are joining it by steps, and that's another theory for what the Shirei HaMa'alot is. Not clear, not for sure, all theories, but you do have I call it even a secular psalm of Jerusalem almost. It doesn't deny the religious thing, but you have a secular psalm of Jerusalem sitting in the middle of the Tanakh, and I've always been very, very moved by that. Am I correct that next week is the last week?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do next, look, I'll choose a psalm that I can do without breaking into groups. I didn't do that this time. I thought we would do groups. Next week, I understand that some people, for very valid reasons, from concern to taking care of the family or for whatever else, can't leave the house. So we're going to have next week, clearly, the notice will go out as it's going to take place here. For those who, for one reason or another, can't get here, we'll also do this, and hopefully that will satisfy the Misrad HaChinuch with their and the synagogue will say 450 shekels.
Whatever works for you.
Do you prefer it on Zoom? We can do Zoom. It's 450 shekels. I don't care.
I like living here.
I like being here.
Okay. So, okay. So we're here. There will be peace in our ramparts. Shalom b'chedech. Okay. Thank you. This was nice. And
Thank you very much.
last time is the next time because Pesach soon right after that. And I'm pretty sure it's next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me just invite you for another meeting that we will have this Wednesday. It will be in Hebrew, but whoever can follow are very welcome. We will have Professor Aviada Cohen, who is a lawyer and an expert in Jewish law, and he's also written a book about Rabbi Amital, and he will come. He learned with Rabbi Amital, and he will come and speak about him. This will be Wednesday at 7:30. So yeah,
Wednesday, how about?
this Wednesday.
What is this name?
Aviad HaKohen.
Another activist for my mom.